Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. So we got some really cool news in regards to a trademark being filed a couple of days ago, being filed and basically being approved, that has to do with the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime Yugioh 7s. Now I know a few of you might be thinking, well, why is this really any news at all? Because this probably confirms that we will be receiving an English dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. Now, that's something that I've believed pretty much this entire time. I've always believed that Rush Duels were going to make their way outside of Japan to the TCG market, and with Rush Duels, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s would come along for the ride as well. And we finally have our first rumblings of that possibility being confirmed, essentially, outside of Japan. Essentially, Konami is gearing up to release Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 stuff outside of Asia and outside of Japan, otherwise they're probably not filing this trademark. So the article is very short, it's over on Yugioh Organization, I'll go ahead and read that for you guys right now. The article just says, it would seem Konami and partners are looking to do something with 7s internationally. Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s with a Western logo has been trademarked in the US and the European Union. No further information has been announced. So again, really just kind of the beginning of what could be, and what most likely will be, bigger news down the road. I guess if you wanted to look at it from a very conservative angle, you could say that this doesn't really mean anything, and Konami might just be filing a trademark and creating a trademark just in case they want to go down the route of releasing it worldwide. I'm not really a big proponent of that. I'm not a big believer in the just-in-case theory. I think if Konami is doing something like this, it's probably because they have plans for it. I don't think they're just going to be filing trademarks for the heck of it and just as a failsafe in case they decide down the road that they do want to release it into international markets. I think at this moment in time, Konami has a plan, and that plan includes dubbing Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, which is why we now have the logo, if there ever is an English dub, filed and trademarked, and probably to bring Rush Duels to the TCG game as well. Because of the coronavirus situation, I'm not sure the timeline for this. I really did believe that Rush Duels were going to come out in the TCG late in 2020. I know that was a very unpopular opinion. A lot of people thought that was way too soon of a timeline, but I thought at the very least we would get some sort of information before the end of 2020 on a Rush Duel TCG release, but because of COVID-19 impacting pretty much everything in the world, I don't know how the timeline is going to play out. Speaking from an English dub perspective, and that's the angle I'm going to be focusing on in this video, as you can tell by the title, I do not believe that we are anywhere near getting an English dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. I think it's going to happen, but I think it's probably about 1.5 to 2 years away. And that might be conservative. Oh, what do you know? That poster literally, I've had that poster on the wall for 3 years, and that has never happened. And of course, when I'm recording a video, it does. Alright, anyway, where were we? So, I believe that the English dub of 7s, which I believe we're going to get, is not going to come for a couple more years. And there's a few reasons why that. The English dub is usually pretty behind the Japanese release of the anime with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been that way really since GX and 5Ds. There's always been almost like a year buffer. And we've seen that buffer get longer and longer as the shows have gone on. So the Arc 5 buffer, I want to say, was probably 1.5 years. I might be wrong about that, but I think it was a little longer than normal. And then the Vrains buffer, at this moment in time, we still do not have a release of the dub in the United States for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, which is insane. Like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains English dub is recorded 1.5 hours from where I'm recording this video. It's recorded 1.5 hours from where I live, and yet we have not gotten any sort of word about a release, an official release, for the English dub over here in the United States. It really is, like, I don't even have the words for it. It's very surprising, if anything. And I know there are a lot of people that want to watch the dub, and of course you can watch it on, you know, the sketchy sites, but there's no official release. I know in Canada, and I believe in Australia as well, there have been English dubbed episodes released for Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, and I think they are about halfway through the show. So they're still going to be dubbing Vrains, in my opinion, for probably the next 6 months to a year. And then when the Vrains dub is done, that's when they're going to start dubbing the episodes of Sevens, but you have to at least dub a decent amount of episodes. You have to cast for Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, and you have to dub the episodes before you can start releasing them. And so that's why I don't believe we're close to getting an English dub release of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. I think it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen like 2022 at the earliest. I think we are still very far away from that. So even though this is exciting news, I don't want people to think that, oh, we're going to be getting a Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's English dub in 3 months. We might be. I mean, maybe some shocking thing will happen, and maybe they'll dub Vrains and 7 simultaneously. But with how the Vrains dub has been handled, especially over here in the United States, I do not see them releasing a Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's English dub anytime soon. I think it's going to happen, but I think we have a ways to go before it does happen. The other angle that I want to touch on is, with what Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's is as an anime, easily through 6 episodes, or through 5 episodes, excuse me, the most comedic Yu-Gi-Oh! Show that we've ever gotten. Comedy has always been a focal, not a focal point, comedy has always been a theme in most of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows, but like comedy is the like top genre of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. Like, it is the focal point of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's. And so I think with the dub always kind of trying to be more comedic than the original source material, because they are aiming to attract a younger demographic than the original source material is, I think a dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's fits what they are trying to do perfectly. I think the writers are going to have a field day over there. You can have those corny one-liners, and they're going to fit in so well with the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's world. And I think the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's dub has a potential for that reason to be one of the most faithful Yu-Gi-Oh! Dubs that we have gotten so far. I don't see Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's being a show where there's going to be a lot that they'll need to censor, where there's going to be a lot that they'll need to change in terms of dialogue or character lines. And so for that reason, I think the English dub for this show is going to be very promising. Well, it is very promising, and how it's executed will be, you know, a whole nother thing. And I'm actually really excited to see what they end up doing with the English dub, but I think this fits perfectly with what Konami Cross Media, now Konami Cross Media, back then 4K Media and 4Kids, has always tried to do with their English dubs. Aim for a younger demographic. Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's already does that, so I think that it really aligns with what they want to do with their products, and I think the English dub for 7's could end up being very faithful to the original, and could end up actually being really enjoyable for that reason. So I'm really excited to see what does happen, and again, I'll keep an eye on this space. If there's any more news that breaks because of it, I will definitely let you guys know. I wouldn't be expecting it anytime soon, but I think that unless you're looking at it from the ultra-conservative point of view, this is a really good sign for people that do enjoy the English dub and want the show to be dubbed, like myself. The other perspective that is actually quite interesting, my friend Brad actually pointed this out on Twitter when the news first broke a few days ago, is this could be filing, not necessarily for an English dub, that could be something way down the road, but this could have been filed because they want to potentially start a simulcast and bring a simulcast to Crunchyroll. We know Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains had a simulcast on Crunchyroll, which was amazing. That was the only Yu-Gi-Oh! Show ever that has had a simulcast, and a simulcast just means the episodes are officially subbed, usually about 30 minutes after they air in Japan, so it gives a lot of people the accessibility to watch the show without having to go on, you know, a GoGo or a Kiss and sites like that, where I know there's a lot of people that actually aren't watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's because they don't enjoy going on those sites, and they say, if there's no official way to watch it, I'm not going to go out of my way and risk getting an infection on my computer to go on those sites, which is completely fair. And so that's why I've always been in favor and always been hopeful that Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's would get a simulcast. This is in no way any sort of confirmation that Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's will be getting a simulcast. I do want to reiterate that, but as Brad speculated in his tweet, and as I completely agreed reading that tweet, it could end up being what they are trying to do. They might indeed have plans to bring Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's to Crunchyroll, much like they did to Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, and that's why they filed this trademark. But that's really just speculation. It could be what they're trying to do. It might not be. Again, it might just be a failsafe. Maybe they genuinely don't have any plans for the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's franchise right now, but I don't really necessarily buy that. Konami knows what they're doing, and I think that they probably have plans and have things in the work to bring Yugioh 7s to international markets at some point in the future. But guys, I really want to hear from all of you. What are your thoughts on a Yugioh 7s dub down the road? Do you think this is definitive confirmation that we will definitely be getting a dub, or maybe a simulcast? Do you think that's still a possibility? Let me know all your thoughts on this announcement. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Jorge Carrillo, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Smith620, Blue Maiden 28, Panther J, Vincent Van Der Veen, Nero, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon, and to my Diamond tier patrons Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Pegasus Seiya, and to my Egyptian God tier patron, Syn Cloud. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon, and thank you to everyone who just watches my videos. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this, and thanks to everyone who is a YouTube channel member as well. You guys all really do help me out tremendously. I will talk to you down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.